Welcome back. If you just joined us, our guest on this episode of Question Time is the Director General of the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, Professor Lawrence Anikwe. Join us again. Are you saying precisely that by 2025 that Nigeria would be a nuclear power generating country? So how many megawatts are we looking in this direction?
Again, get back to you. The IAEA has what we call roadmap for countries that are interested in electricity through nuclear. And this roadmap is what the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission has developed that gave this date. And it will be something in the neighborhood, in the first instance, it will be something in the neighborhood of 4,000 megawatts.
We understand that generating nuclear plants is quite cheaper. So how much are we considering in this, in terms of the capital involved in this project?
It is a lot of funding to get this technology going. I will not hazard, try to guess and give you the figure, but it's a very capital intense project. But once implemented, the power, the electricity from it is quite cheap.
From indications at your disposal, would you say the federal government is showing enough commitment to develop its nuclear base and nuclear plan for the future?
As a matter of fact, I can tell you authoritatively, talking to some of the ministers, some of the meetings we have been in, the government is quite supportive of this project. It's quite supportive of the project. The financing or the funding of it is another matter that that could be worked out. There are different financing options. Federal government is quite supportive of this. As a matter of fact, we had what is called Integrated Nuclear Infrastructure Review meeting. This is an international review organized by the IAEA, where they assembled the best in the area to come to a country to review the nuclear power program of that country. We undertook this in June last year, and the result was published in September. This is made available to the federal government of Nigeria.
The world powers has over time been at cross path with smaller nations showing ambitious plans to develop their own nuclear base. Now, so from the outcome of this summit, what happens to smaller nations showing ambitious nuclear plan?
As a matter of fact, it is the right of every nation to use this technology, but there is a regulation. I have to tell you honestly that there is nobody that is prevented from using the technology. This is the simplest thing you can do for a nation to support it, because it's called peaceful application of nuclear science. Every nation under the sun is a preamble that is taken in any statement. All nations, if you want, you are given the opportunity, but you have to follow what has to be done is that you must follow the laws, the rules that have been set out for it to be done.
Over time, the world powers have been at cross path with smaller nations having an ambitious plan to develop the nuclear plan. So now, what happens to smaller nations from the outcome of the summit? What happens to smaller nations that are showing ambitious plans to be a nuclear power country?
All the leaders, I mean the various heads of government, they were looking at the perception. Do they understand even about the nuclear and terrorism? That was the first thing. And what are they doing in their various states to get this, to understand this and protect their materials? What are they doing? That's another preliminary. How are they cooperating with the international community? This is another preliminary. All those heads of state are there. And finally, the last is what is called scenario-based policy technical discussion. Scenario-based policy technical discussion by the leaders, by their own leaders. What does it mean? The shepherds of the various countries developed a film where they brought in this idea of the dirtiness, and they simulated a process, a film showing where the terrorists stole a radioactive material and used the drone. They stole it and used the drone to dispel it or disperse it in multiple cities of a country. This is simulation, it's not that it happened. So the various heads of state were asked, same question you are asking me, what will you do? How do you do this? So everybody, this is where our own president came up to say what how he's dealing with the terrorism and how he will deal with this particular problem if it happens in his own country. At this particular time, Mr. Obama had to also call him because he knows that this problem is in our land. What will you do? The importance of this, what this question you asked, is that various people will not sit down until this problem comes. The various governments will not sit down. There is need to anticipate these problems, do this type of exercise, do other things like securing these materials wherever they are so that they do not get to the hand of the terrorists. After you have made enough effort, should it come, what else will you do? In this particular case, they are not even talking about only nuclear. They are also talking about chemical, biological weapon attack. So you have also known that terrorists have used anthrax. You know that they have also used nerve gas. These were the demonstrations. So what are you going to do, as you ask, is put in the policy or what you are doing with a regulatory body, how you strengthen them to make sure that these things, first of all, are very well known where they are, and that they set alarm anytime they are taken away from the place they are.